In today's video, the president has a special message for the country of Venezuela. Secondly, Zelensky is meeting with Trump. He's wanting Tomahawk missiles. And finally, J.B. Pritzker is continuing to threaten ICE officers. In all these stories, we're going to show you what both sides are saying and then give you the bottom line.
It has been reported that Maduro offered everything in his country, all the natural resources. He even recorded a message to you in English recently, offering mediation. What should we do to stop that?
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. Let's go. Start moving. Thank you, guys. Let's go.
Okay, so what you just heard there was the president dropping an F-bomb in regards to Maduro, who is the dictator who's in charge of the country Venezuela, which we know a lot of their gang members have fled into our country, and the president has even designated them as a foreign terrorist group, TDA that is. And yeah, I think he's had enough of him and the shenanigans that's been going on. And let's not forget who just won the Nobel Peace Prize, the woman who's in charge of the opposition party there. So no shocker there, right, on how the president feels about him. Now, what else happened today during this cabinet meeting, so to speak, is Zelensky. He's here right now in D.C. speaking with the president. And I want you guys to pay attention to what this reporter just asked him, because when you think about American first principles, I think this is a great question. Take a listen.
But to meet that deal, both sides had to make concessions. Our president has stuck out his neck in many ways to make a peace deal for your war as well. What specific concessions are you willing to make to end this war with Russia? Will you give up joining NATO? Americans have foreign war fatigue, and our president, as he said, we need our Tomahawks too.
To me?
Yes, you, President Zelensky.
Thank you very much.
That's some question, right?
So many questions in one. Thank you very much for your question. First of all, I think we need to sit and speak. The second point, we need ceasefire. Even now, you see in the Middle East, it's very difficult to hold ceasefire. Everywhere, in every war, it's very difficult. We want peace. Putin doesn't want. That's why we need pressure on him. We will speak with President today what we need. We understand what we need to push Putin to negotiation table. And as I said previously, so we are ready to speak in any kind of format, bilateral, trilateral, doesn't matter. Matter just peace. This is important. And we don't speak about NATO or NATO. For Ukrainians, it's very important. Of course, it's our decisions of allies to decide where we are.
About you, but I've kind of heard enough of, what are we going to do to end this war? Will you accept concessions? It's action time. But that's just me as an American citizen. America First Principles would say that America doesn't need to continue to fund this war. We should not have to give up Tomahawk missiles to end this war, etc. But if you ask, the war hawks on Capitol Hill, they're all for this. I'm going to show you an example of that here shortly. But let's start with what the media is saying by using ground news. Okay, ground news is a tool that shows you the full picture of stories that are being reported in the media from both sides of the political spectrum. Why is that important? Because this show is all about critical thinking, free thinkers, people who are willing to do their own research and think for themselves. Well, this is the primary tool we use, my producers use, to help us produce this show. And so we're looking at this story. I want you to pay attention to the title first. Zelensky heads to the White House as Trump wavers on Tomahawk missiles. So already the headlines that are coming out of this meeting is really undermining the president as if he's the one doing something wrong. He's not doing anything wrong. He's doing way more than what Biden ever did. In fact, Biden continued to spend our hard-earned money to continue to fund this proxy war. So before I go any further and show you more about ground news, pay attention to what the president said. Take a listen.
I have an obligation also, though, to make sure that we're completely stocked up as a country, because you never know what's going to happen. In war and peace, right? You never know what's going to happen. So we're going to be talking about Tomahawks, and would much rather have them not need Tomahawks. Would much rather have the war be over, to be honest, because we're in it to get the war over. We're we're selling a lot of different types of weapon, as you know, to the European Union. We're not in it for that. We're in it to get it over. We're losing thousands of people a week, thousands of people, Russian, Ukrainian, and mostly soldiers. I mean, mostly soldiers. But we're in it to see that end. And if we can end quickly, and I think we can. I mean, I had a very good talk yesterday. We're going to be talking about it. But I had a very productive talk yesterday with President Putin. We'll see what happens. But the war in the Middle East was far more complicated. We got that one done. And I think we have a good chance. I think President Zelensky wants it done, and I think President Putin wants it done. Now all they have to do is get along a little bit.
Yeah, so bottom line so far, the president's attitude is about ending this war. War hawks, Democrats, Congress, they want to continue to fund this war, a proxy war in a sense. And that's why I continue to applaud the president on the efforts he's made, especially when you compare them to the Biden administration. Hopefully, he is successful in ending this. But what's not going to be helpful is the propaganda that is continuing to be pushed by mainstream media, legacy media, and that's why we use ground news. That's what you see here on the screen. Look at this article. Look at this headline from The Independent. This is an article that leans left. Ground news will show it to you. Putin's mini coup in the White House has beaten Zelensky to the punch with Trump. Putin sneaked in a call to the White House before Zelensky arrived, turning Trump back to his side after the president drifted towards democracy. Why? Because the president doesn't want to give Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, which could only really escalate this war even more. I mean, this is the propaganda that the left is pushing. And this is why I encourage you guys to download this Ground News app, use it for yourself to do your own critical thinking, and see the angles and the bias that is being used to report these stories. That's the only way you're going to be able to maintain your sanity and be able to continue to think for yourself. So if you want to use this tool for yourself, all you have to do is go to ground.news/Devori, or you can download the mobile app. Just use promo code Devori, and it's going to give you access to everything that I showed you in this video, including 40% off the Vantage plan.
To be determined, but I would say most likely it's going to be a double meeting. It'll be a double meeting, but we will have the president, Zelensky, in touch. There's a lot of bad blood with the two presidents, and I'm not speaking out of turn when I say it. It's a very difficult situation. You know, we just settled the war, and after thousands of years, I guess. People say anywhere from 500 to 3,000 years, and I was in rooms, as you saw, because you were with me, a lot of you were with me last week, with leaders that didn't like each other, but they were able to get along. These two leaders do not like each other, and we want to make it comfortable for everybody. So one way or the other will be involved in threes, but it may be separated.
The principles are the same as it pertains to this negotiation between these two countries that would bring this war to an end, and that is finding the right compromise that they're both willing to eat, right? As long as they know the other one's getting screwed too in the process, there's a possibility there. These are just basic, timeless principles of what happens when you're trying to get something negotiated. Now, how long will that take? It's anybody's guess. It could drag on for the next few years, you know? But at least the president is staying active, engaged. He continues to send his people to create these lower level talks that also obviously engages the higher level talks. So again, it's much more than what the prior administration has done, but I wouldn't have any expectation that this war is going to end tomorrow. All right. Now let's go to one more clip here where the president is really relishing in the idea of why he's doing all this. What is this all about for him? What does he love to do besides making deals? Well, he loves ending wars. Take a look.
There is an attack going on with Afghanistan. That's an easy one for me to solve if I have to solve it. In the meantime, I have to run the USA, but I love solving wars. You know why? I like stopping people from being killed, and I've saved millions and millions of lives, and I think we're going to have success with this war. Wait, please.
President Zelensky, this is your third time over here. And by the way, you look excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so on that point of ending wars, this post from Senator John Fetterman represents the current point of contention. He says, "Dear President Trump, peace in Gaza happened through strength, And I'm grateful for your leadership on that. Now I'm calling on your leadership to deliver tomahawks for Ukraine. This awful war needs to end, and you may be the only person who could deliver peace. Now, some people believe by doing this will only escalate things, and it will continue to, I guess, push this war to a point where it's never going to end. And of course, Senator John Fetterman thinks the war is going to end if tomahawks are delivered. I'm not too sure I'm convinced of that exactly. I don't see how you're trying to get Putin to accept some level of concessions or be forced to if you're giving tomahawks to Ukraine. Maybe I'm a little naive on that, but I just don't see that, especially from an American first principle. We should not be sending more weapons and more money to Ukraine, but that is my own personal opinion. I think we got plenty of problems here back at home, and I'm not convinced Russia, Putin is one of them, okay? Doesn't mean they're not a threat. I just don't think they are the biggest threat at this moment in time. You guys let me know how you feel in the comment section below. Now this takes us to our next update. As you guys know, a federal judge directed ICE officials to remove the barriers and the fencing that protected the Broadview, Illinois ICE detention facility because they knew the protests were getting out of hand. Well, they did remove the barriers and the fencing, and now today we're back where we've always been. Protesters are now storming the ICE detention facility. Additional police officers had to be called, and things are continuing to get out of hand. And of course, the governor, he still maintains the same reaction. But let's first look at how Fox News is talking about what's happening on the ground there. Take a look.
ICE processing facility for illegal immigrants who've committed violent crimes. So that's their processing center. We have seen this before. It's been a very busy couple of hours, and it continues. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is in the thick of it there. Mike.
And Harris, in the last half hour or so, we saw another dust up with protesters and law enforcement. What it was in this case is a couple of protesters got in the street, and the Broadview police picked them up and pulled them out. And that caused a lot of anger, a lot of volume, a lot of shouting. Let me give you a look down Beach Street. This is where the fence used to be on Beach Street, and now what you see out here live are a bunch of state troopers. Now, Chief Thomas Mills told me that they were going to put a gate in that place. Right now, since that fence was removed by court order, there's nothing but manpower blocking that street, and you can see those are Illinois state troopers with their helmets and truncheons at the ready. There's another layer of state troopers a little further up the street here, and now what you've got are the demonstrators who are gathered, all the flags, and one of the things you'll notice with a lot of them that they've got their helmets and they've got the Home Depot's painter masks ready to go.
Now, me and you both heard the same thing. Protesters are not even following the laws as it pertains to their peaceful protesting. There are hours that are established, there are locations and zones that are established, and they're disregarding all of it. So you would think in a reasonable society, the governor, the mayor, these leaders would come out and say, hey, listen, we support you guys peacefully protesting, but you need to follow the law. That's not happening. What's happening is the governor continues to come out and make empty threats against ICE officers because he says when Democrats come back into power, that they will seek to prosecute these people. In other words, hold them accountable. Take a listen.
You said when there's a Democrat in office or when a Democratic Congress takes over that, quote, people are going to be held accountable. And you said a few years from now, this is going to hurt. What is that going to look like? Do you think Democrats would or should push for jail time for some of these officials? Like, how far should Democrats go if and when they do get power back?
Democrats should just do what Republicans should do but are unwilling to, which is follow the law. That means if someone broke the law, whether you're an ICE agent or a CBP agent or Stephen Miller.
Yeah, I don't think we need to hear any more threats from J.B. Pritzker because we know where they stand. We've seen it firsthand before under the Biden administration. They locked up thousands of people who were Trump supporters, conservatives, etc. So imagine what they will do if they get back into power again. They're going to go after ICE agents. And for the critics out there, you should be asking them, do you think ICE officers should be arrested for what they're doing? Because that kind of gives you a framework or at least some type of gauge to figure out where their mind is at, what ideas they have accepted as truth. ICE officers are following their constitutional duty, as we all know. So why don't we get into this next story, which is really a rebuke of Democrats in this type of rhetoric. And it continues to show what happens when they speak this way and how it manifests into political violence. This individual has been arrested for making threats against ICE officers, in fact, calling for their assassination. Take a listen to this.
News investigation. Federal authorities arrested a Kenosha man they say was suggesting people shoot ICE agents posting online.
TikTok videos federal prosecutors say Andrew Stanton posted refer multiple times to shooting at federal agents.
If ICE shows up to your neighborhood, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. It's time to start shooting at them.
Prosecutors charged him with threats to assault, kidnap, or murder a U.S. official, a federal offense.
Whoever wants to take what I say as threats might just need to look inside and see what they're defending.
Court records show someone reported Stanton's TikTok accounts to the state's Threat Analysis Center in August, and federal agents tried speaking to him by knocking on his door and calling him, but made no contact. Yet the posts, prosecutors say, kept coming. They say, including one video saying, quote, "When there are mass shootings, they are successful. People die and people are terrorized. You could apply that to other people, federal agents," end quote. And then a text exchange between an agent identifying himself as a supervisor named Joe who wanted to talk. Prosecutors say Stanton messaged several times back with comments such as, quote, "Please die. It will help future generations. Kill yourself, Fed, and hang yourself," end quote. Prosecutors say Stanton also sent a meme referencing the Charlie Kirk murder with a caption, quote, "This should be a lesson on how to deal with fascists. You don't debate them, you delete them," end quote.
Are you paying attention? Do you see what is happening to the minds of American citizens who are eating up this propaganda from MSDNC and political leaders who continue to call conservatives and Trump supporters and the president fascists? This is what is out there. That's what I'm saying. You should show this story to independents. People who are like, well, you know, I don't know if I support Trump. You don't need to support Trump, but definitely don't support what Democrats are doing. It's dangerous. They're okay with political violence. We've seen the polls, we've seen the studies, and we've seen the results just in this year alone. They are okay with political violence as long as it is targeting the president and his supporters and conservatives. It's really sad. Now, there's a little bit more on this. Take a look.
Later, prosecutors say he posted a video naming that federal agent with whom he texted.
If ICE shows up to your neighborhood, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. It's time to start shooting at them. If they show up to your neighborhood, and I'm talking to you, Border Patrol Officer Joe, it's time we start shooting at y'all.
Federal authorities arrested Stanton last Wednesday. He's now in the Kenosha County Jail on a single felony charge. A judge ordered him in custody until his trial, set for a preliminary hearing tomorrow morning in federal court.
Yeah, see, I would love to know what the governor has to say about this particular story. Imagine how many more people are out there speaking like this. They just haven't been caught. They haven't been arrested. The investigation hasn't even started, but they have been reported, and some may have not been reported. This is how American citizens are thinking about ICE officers. It is becoming a dangerous situation.
Our officers are able to use our intelligence and targeting packages to go after the worst of the worst. Anybody that's been convicted of any crimes, we're able to target them, locate them, and ultimately remove them from the community. This is something that Governor Pritzker doesn't want us doing. He wants these gang members, murderers, rapists left out on the street. Like I said, we've arrested TDA gang members. We've arrested 18th Street gang members. We've arrested people that have been convicted of sex crimes, of child trafficking crimes. The list goes on. And we can read those rap sheets and we post them on our social media pages to tell the story of what we're doing at ICE, which is removing the worst of the worst.
This is where we have to try our best to educate people and get them to understand that ICE is not breaking the law. You may think they're overly aggressive. You may not even agree with what they're doing, but it doesn't mean they're destroying the country, and it does not mean they're breaking the law. Now, of course, that's for people who think for themselves, that would absolutely agree with me. People who don't, who eat up the propaganda, they will disagree with me 110%. All right, so now we go to our next story, and this is great news, especially when you're talking about a president who continues to keep his promises. We have some updates regarding the gas prices in America, which, again, you guys can confirm it for yourself in the comment section. Has gas fallen for you in your cities? Please let me know. Let's take a look at this clip now.
The president said the U.S. was going to drill, baby, drill, and that is kind of what's happened. setting an all-time record in July for the amount of oil pumped out of the ground here in the U.S., and that, in part, is starting to have an impact on gasoline prices. A little higher than the national average at the station behind me here in Philadelphia. We're down to $3.07 for the average gallon of regular nationally. That's about a nickel cheaper than it was a week ago, a dime cheaper than a month ago, and it's not nickels and dimes when you fill up your tank. 33 states now have an average gas price below $3. Oklahoma leads the way on the low end, $2.57. No surprise, California on the high end at $4.66.
Well, when it comes to California, we know why the gas is still high, because there's a gas tax, there's a mileage tax that is going to be implemented here shortly. And overall, California, the cost of everything continues to increase no matter what the federal government is doing. So that's why I'm so happy we left. But I digress. The fact that half the country has seen gas prices drop, I think is a huge win for the president, and continues to prove that he has taken action to improve the economy. But again, I love to hear from the people themselves. So again, put it in the comment section if you've seen gas prices drop in your area. They also have a clip of people who are speaking out about this. Take a listen.
As gas prices fall below $3 here in Norwood.
Yeah, $2.87, that's great.
Drivers like Raquel Jackson say it's already helping their holiday shopping.
Anything helps right now. A little bit helps. Goes a long way.
These $2.87 prices, though, look high compared to some areas, like $2.61 at this station in Bethel.
We drive around a lot, so it's nice to be able to pay less when we do fill up.
Becky Cook is also counting her savings.
You think it's going to help people for the holiday season shopping?
Yes, absolutely. I already know it's going to help us.
With Black Friday shopping just a month away, a report from the investment firm Raymond James says this should provide a boost to consumer spending. Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy agrees.
Gasoline price is certainly one of the key economic barometers that many Americans use. If prices are high, they feel oppressed. If they decline or if they're low, people's sentiment on how they feel about the economy drastically improves.
Yeah, so on a political point of view, this is a win for the president and a win for the Republican Party headed into the midterms. As long as gas prices continue to steadily decline, people will notice the difference. Now, just on a personal note, something about me, in case you don't know this, we have an electric vehicle and we have a gas vehicle, okay? We have a Tesla and a Jeep. And I'm a firm believer that everybody should have an electric vehicle. Why? Because if you're driving from your house to your work, which is 5 miles away, or to the grocery store that is 5 miles away, or to the school that is 5 miles away to pick up your kids, you will save so much more money by having an electric vehicle. The maintenance costs, there's no comparison. You never have to stop to get gas. You drive there, you drive home, you hook it up to the charger in your garage, you just plug it into the wall, and you're good. It's like charging your phone. A lot of people hear that and I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know, Devore. I'm telling you, once you try it for yourself and you see, if you're just traveling within town, you save so much money by having an electric vehicle. Okay, so having said all that, why don't I hear from you guys in the comment section below to these stories today? What did you make of Zelensky and his answer about what most Americans are thinking, which is, why should we continue to fund this? What is really going on? Are you willing to make concessions? What did you make of his answer? What did you make of the question? Also, the president dropping an F-bomb. How'd you feel about that? And then what do you think about J.B. Pritzker? He's continuing to threaten ICE officers with prosecution. But we shot back by showing you what's truly happening in our country, where people are threatening to kill ICE officers. Just give me all of your thoughts and everything you got in the comment section below. Now, speaking about what is a threat to our country, last night there was a debate between the candidates running for New York City mayor. And if you missed it, I encourage you to watch it, because it's really stunning what's coming to our country in a city near you. And that is Mamdani continuing to destroy Andrew Cuomo. And you could see it for yourself how dangerous his ideas really are. So if you guys missed out on the update and more from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video, because it's coming up right now.